Hello guys, welcome to Royal Insidar. On June 25th, a metadata tag was captured inside Meghan Markle's As Ever website before anyone could change it. It read, Brand Republic of Tea, not as ever, not some bespoke Monasto producer. Republic of Tea, a commercial company founded in 1992, Larkspur, California, the same company that produces branded teas for Netflix's Bridgerton series. There was nothing about her brand that was good from the start to a distinguishing eye. She was a fraud, what I could see from the beginning, who was just using opportunities to advance herself. Her brand wasn't one built on substance. It was based on using people. Overall, guys, what I will say about the packaging is that it looks cheap. Especially the tea. I feel like these tins are very cheap. And for somebody who is obsessed with packaging, Meghan Markle, did you know that this sticker is crooked? Believe it's also crooked on the back here. Within hours of the Daily Mail publishing it, the tag was swapped to As Ever Store. The shipping policy, which had stated in plain writing that products are delivered from the Republic of Tea's fulfillment centers, was quietly edited. The FAQ was rewritten to reference best-in-class vendors. Think about that. The metadata existed. It was captured. The edits happened after the questions started. Every other channel covering this brand is running taste tests and unboxing reactions. And I get it. A crooked label is more visual than a source code tag. But the source code is always the story. What's inside the infrastructure tells you more than what's on the label. By the time we get to the $10 million that Variety says Netflix was left holding in March 2026, you'll understand exactly why the sold-out narrative doesn't survive contact with AS Digital Records. This isn't a product review. It's an audit. The deal that was already dead on August 11, 2025, Netflix announced a renewed partnership with Arwell Productions. Multi-year first look. The press release specifically expanded the arrangement to include the As brand. Netflix's chief content officer, Bella Baharia, said on the record that As Ever products were consistently selling out in record time. 7 months later, March 6, 2026, Netflix officially divested from As Ever. According to Variety reporting March 18 with 6 sources who had direct knowledge of the situation, the exit had been in the works since the previous fall. That's roughly 2 months after the August announcement. They publicly expanded the deal, celebrated it in a press release, and were already planning the exit before the calendar turned. The Hollywood Reporter on the same day as the August renewal described the new arrangement, their exact words, as a downgrade from the 2020 overall deal. The original exclusive contract was worth roughly $60 million per 2 Variety sources. The renewal stripped the exclusivity entirely, less money, less commitment, and as it turned out, much less time. Every new project is promoted like a reinvention. Every interview is framed as some way of empowerment, right? Every soft family moment is presented as authentic. And yeah, we see right through it, Meghan. But the public is starting to see that pattern that she has. And it always comes back to Meghan. It always comes back to girl, what you doing? It comes back to her story, her brand, her struggles, her truth, right? Her healing her image. And after a while, people just stop clapping. They start rolling their eyes and giving the side eye like for real. For real. Everyone's asking why Netflix left. That's the wrong frame. The right question is what the inventory numbers looked like when they decided to go, because those numbers exist and they're extraordinary. Who actually makes the tea? I want you to understand what the metadata finding actually means, because it's not about whether the tea tastes different. In June 2025, Internet users examining As Ever's product page source code found Brand Republic of Tea embedded in the tea listings. GB News confirmed it June 25th and Stars confirmed it June 27th. At the same time, As Ever's own shipping policy stated in plain text, products are delivered from the Republic of Tea's fulfillment centers. Republic of Tea isn't a boutique. It's a major commercial manufacturer. Founded 1992, headquartered in Larkspur, California, factory in Nashville, Illinois. Their standard hibiscus tea retails at roughly 32 cents a bag. As Ever's version, roughly 75, a markup of approximately 134%. Now, As Ever's side of this is on the record. An unnamed source told Newsweek on June 30, 2025 that As Ever's blend is an entirely unique bespoke blend with more expensive packaging. Anything else in the box? What's in the box? Looks like a lot of waste. Oh my God, that's not good for the environment. It's terrible. Elton John's going to have to make another donation. More carbon footprints. The only thing that was in that box was that tiny little box. That's it. That's all in a waste. Wow. What a waste. What an idiot. That's their stated position. But here's what's documented. The metadata was changed after press contact. The shipping policy language was softened to external partners. The FAQ was updated. Republic of Tea has not publicly commented at any point. It's like having the receipt from a supplier printed inside your product packaging, realizing a journalist can see it, and stapling new packaging over the top overnight. The product didn't change. The paperwork did. That's the supply chain story. But it isn't the number that should concern you most. That's next. On January 3, 2026, Reddit users found a design flaw in the As Ever website. There was no cap on basket. 5 months before this, Netflix's chief content officer told the press these products were consistently selling out in record time. A Newsweek source said the brand had exceeded everybody's expectations over the holiday period. Both statements are on the record. So is 650,190. Now add the traffic data. Between January and May 2026, similar web data reported by Newsweek counted 392,114 American visitors to the As website. That's the only country it ships to. Every international visitor is browsing, not buying. You probably know what standard e-commerce conversion looks like. Between 1 and 3% of visitors become buyers. Apply that to 392,114 visitors. That's somewhere between 3,900 and 11,700 purchases against 650,190 units. The math doesn't sell out, it compounds. The failure of As Ever is simply impossible to ignore. And more people are picking up on this premium you are paying for these products, which I feel like are overpriced, is simply because Meghan is a duchess. No other reason. On March 6, 2026, Netflix stepped away from As Ever. The statements were measured. Netflix praised Meghan's passion for elevating everyday moments. As Ever said it was grateful for Netflix's partnership and was ready to stand on its own. Then Variety published its investigation 12 days later. According to their sources, Netflix was left holding more than $10 million in surplus As Ever inventory, tea, baking mixes, product that hadn't moved, and they started putting it on card tables in their office buildings for employees to take home for free. RQL spokesperson told Variety that giveaways from sample closets are standard practice at studios. There is a difference between a sample closet and $10 million on folding tables. One is a Friday perk. The other is a clearance event with no price sticker. The picture is now complete. Netflix reportedly funded the brand's development. Netflix expanded the deal to include As Ever in August 2025. Netflix was out by March 2026 with surplus product worth 8 figures, a figure that Arwell called standard practice and Netflix did not dispute. If you think the paper trail ends there, wait until you see what the trademark record says about the brand name itself. That's 5 minutes away. Before As Ever there was American Riviera Orchard. The USPTO rejected that name in September 2024. American Riviera is a geographic descriptor for the Santa Barbara area. You can't trademark a place. Orchard was flagged as descriptive for food products. Both problems, one application. So, the name changed. But the US had already issued a 145-page partial rejection of the As Ever mark back in July 2023, specifically blocking clothing sales. The reason: a Chinese fast fashion company called As Ever based in Shenzhen that supplies retailers including H&M. The USTO found the marks identical in sound and virtually identical in appearance. A likelihood of consumer confusion. Lawyers dropped clothing from the application in January 2024. The revised food and lifestyle version was approved. But that still wasn't the end of it. A small vintage clothing company in New York, also called As Ever, operating under that name since 2017, found out about the rebrand the same way everyone else did, through the headlines. And the Spanish municipality of Perez noted that As Ever's logo looked markedly similar to their official coat of arms. 2 name rejections, two existing businesses sharing the name, one municipality in Majorca with a crest concern, and through all of it, not a single unit sales figure has ever been voluntarily published. This is where the 5 findings connect. As Ever has never disclosed unit sales. No revenue, no margins, no costs. As a private company, it's under no legal obligation to. That's fair, but it means every sold-out announcement is structurally unverifiable by design. This brand has been plagued with one problem after another, many of which were easily avoided. But the recent issues of having to refund some of the apricot soup purchases, once again, same problem she had the first time around. And the taste ends up competing with herself because she has one brand that's failing while trying to launch another bad brand. And yeah, and look at how difficult this was for Victoria Beckham for years and years and years. And her brand was actually considered successful in the fashion world in terms of what it did. And yet it still took years and years and years of David Beckham pumping in millions and millions. And Harry can't afford to keep pumping into the millions and millions because they're going through the inheritance money. Produce 50 jars, sell 50 posts sold out, let People magazine write a headline, or produce 650,000 sell 50. You can do exactly the same thing. Nobody outside the company would know which version they were looking at. Unless your website accidentally tells them, which is exactly what happened on January 3, 2026. The finding isn't that the brand is lying. The finding is that there is no way to know whether it's lying. And the one moment that gap briefly closed, the number that emerged was 650,190. Let me tell you about Mark Kolsky. Kolsky founded a small vintage clothing company in New York. He started operating under the name as Ever in 2017. A family business built by hand over years without a streaming deal or a Netflix press release. He never registered the trademark, didn't have the budget for it. And in February 2025, when Meghan announced the rebrand from American Riviera Orchard to as Ever, Kolsky found out the same way the rest of us did from the news. He went on the record. He described in his own words the significant difference in resources between his operation and a Netflix-backed brand drawing 500,000 page views in its launch week. He made clear he had no connection to the venture. He wasn't consulted. He wasn't compensated. He wasn't acknowledged. Sitting alongside that is a quieter version of the same dynamic. Republic of Tea, the company whose name appeared in AS's back end, whose fulfillment centers were named in the shipping policy, hasn't made a public comment at any point. They manufacture the product. They ship it. And when journalists found their name in the code, it was removed from the website. Nobody's been defrauded. Nobody is suing. But the companies doing the operational work keep ending up in the footnotes. That's worth stating plainly. I mean, the woman is literally hitting self-destruct on everything. And again, like we said earlier, even the promoting and rewarding the trolls, Meghan and Harry have really been the masters of their own demise. First impressions are notoriously hard to shake, and the first impressions of As Ever are really bad. Let me walk the ledger one last time. The arithmetic doesn't need editorializing. Netflix's original Arwell deal, roughly $60 million. The pitch was a full entertainment operation, scripted, unscripted. Children's programming, documentaries, features over 6 years. The verifiable output includes one docu-series and a lifestyle cooking show that ran 2 seasons without a renewal as a full series. August 2025 deal renewed as a first-look downgrade as Ever brand folded in 7 months later as Ever stripped out. Variety reporting $10 million in surplus inventory being given away to staff. As Ever inventory as of January 3, 2026, 650,190 units, 21.8 million retail value. U.S. visitors January through May 2026, 392,114. No sales data published, no revenue figures, no unit economics of any kind. A Newsweek source said the brand expects to double in size this year. That's on the record. So is 650,190. One of those is a verified figure. The other is a projection from an unnamed source. If an auditor walked into a warehouse, counted $650,000 unsold units, noted that the only corporate partner had just departed with $10 million in leftover product, and then asked for the sales records, and the answer came back, "We don't disclose that," no auditor on earth would call that a mystery. They'd write it up as a finding. Here's what this comes down to. As Ever doesn't manufacture anything. It sources from established third-party producers, Republic of Tea for teas, Fair Winds Estate for wine grapes, Kundai Family Winery for bottling. Per Newsweek's confirmed reporting. That is not illegal. It's not even unusual. White label sourcing is standard practice across consumer goods. But most brands that operate this way own it publicly. They don't embed their supplier's name in the product page source code and scrub it when a journalist finds it. They don't claim ongoing record sellouts while holding $21.8 million in stock. And most don't lose their only corporate backer, the one that reportedly paid to build the whole operation 7 months after publicly recommitting. The metadata was captured before the edit. The shipping policy was documented before it changed. The inventory was exposed by As Ever's own website design. None of this came from palace sources or anonymous tips. All of it came from As Ever's own digital infrastructure. The question isn't whether the products are good. It's simpler. When every sold-out claim rests on a number that's never been disclosed, and the one time the real number surfaced accidentally, it was 650,190. Who is the performance actually being reported to? It isn't the public. And as of March 2026, it isn't Netflix either. White label sourcing is completely legitimate. Plenty of successful brands run on third-party manufacturers and say so openly. The issue here isn't the supply chain. It's the metadata scrub that happened when journalists found it. Here's what I want your take on. If As Ever had simply acknowledged Republic of Tea from the start, put it in the FAQ, owned the partnership openly, does that change how you read the rest of the story? Or does the transparency problem go deeper than the tea supplier? I want the specific argument, not just yes or no.